Okay, look at this. We got, damn. Just look at what Disney has done. A video only I can make from your boy Star Wars Theory. Okay, what is going on?
For years. It was about, oh, this lore video would be really cool. Let's make sure the thumbnail is really popping, looks good. People are gonna love that. So now
I have watched a shit ton of Star Wars lore videos. And like how like modern YouTube works is like if you watch the video, you get this red bar. But I think this edition, because this is like proof that you like watch the video, but like all the videos that I used to watch from Star Wars Theory are like happened like years and years ago. And whenever they did like, the constant updates to like YouTube, like if I were to go back like super far, it wouldn't show like the red bars of all the videos that I used to watch. But just know that I have watched a metric shit ton of Star Wars Theory like lore videos, and I thought they were super cool.
now being like, all right, well let's see if there's a new article about like the acolyte, you know. It's very interesting. And I guarantee you that someone today would have much more luck in views and growing their channel if they were to talk about what's extremely controversial. So I
What? Really? I mean, maybe, but isn't everybody already doing that? I mean, it's not really like an industry secret that if you want views, you just talk about the most controversial thing because that's what gets the most engagement. I don't think this is news to anybody.
either really loving the acolyte or whatever, or exposing it for what it is and talk.
Don't those channels exist already? Like, let me do a quick little doodad. Like, I open up YouTube. Why acolyte? Or wait, is it the acolyte? The first, like, look at just the results. I'm not even gonna hit enter. Why the acolyte is bad? Why the acolyte is good? Why acolyte failed? Canceled? Is bad? Is the worst? Is complete garbage? Is great? Why the acolyte? Why the acolyte hate? There's two suggestions that are good. The rest of them are bad. What is this? Just from the suggest, like, let me see. Why the acolyte is good. Let me just humor myself. Yes, I like the acolyte, and here's why. 17K 6 months ago. Whether or not you think this is like a good or bad, like performing video, this is like here or there, or like the acolyte. How to make the most hated show on TV. Anomaly of a failure. Okay, so it's breaking down why it was bad. Worst movie ever. Okay, so like we got it's bad, gets a shitload of views. The worst movie ever. The Acolyte. It's a negative video, 300K. Trash, 300K. Canceled, almost 1 million. Honest trailers, The Acolyte. Oh boy, 800K. I wonder what kind of a connotation it's going with. This is as horrible as everyone is saying. It's almost 3 mil. I wonder, and this is the only video that is saying that it's good, and it's got 17K. So I don't think so. I can use my own eyeballs.
Talking about how it's just destroyed everything and it just looks, it's horrible. Just kind of like The Last Jedi. It's no longer about the lore. It's super. It doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing lore. I like doing lore.
I think in the beginning, whenever you're like making an IP, it's important to have some sort of established lore because from that's what you derive, the rest of your story from. Because if that's not the case, then, the writer, creator, or whatever can just willy-nilly make up whatever they want and change whatever they want and have the main character have plot armor whenever they want to, just be able to do whatever the main character can that best fits the situation. You saw like was it Star Wars Episode 7 with like the introduction of Rey? I forgot what the name of it was, or like the new trilogy, 7, 8, 9. Oh wow, she got a new power. She can heal. Oh wow, she got a new power. She's really good at like floating and controlling everything with all the telekinesis and shit. Oh wow, she got another new power. She's really good at sword fighting. You know, like without any like montage or training or anything like that. She just is good at things without there being like any establishment like on how she got good at them. It's just the main character is good because that's what the scene called for. And when a story just willy nilly breaks its own lore, it makes me as a watcher, and this is something that I learned when I was older, or the older I get. I don't really think I paid attention to this when I was young, because you're just a kid. You don't give a shit. You want flashy, like jingly, shiny keychain in front of you. Whenever I got older, I started to realize that if the writers and creators don't give a shit about their lore and they are so ready to change it at the drop of a dime, why, as a watcher or consumer, should I care about your IP brand in the first place? Why?
I know that there's a core audience of mine that enjoys the lore, whether it's 1% or half of a percent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still going to make lore because I love it and I care about it.
Fulfill your destiny. TheorySabers.com.
Oh,
Hey
shit.
guys, this video is going to be pretty laid back and like you and me chilling, talking. And
Great.
I have to say, I could write a book on the things that I've noticed in the Star Wars community since creating my channel from 0 subscribers to where you guys have gotten it now, which is, where it is. Within the community, within Star Wars communities, within Reddit Star Wars community, Twitter Star Wars community, YouTube, Instagram, all this and that. And that's coming from, having been one of the first 4 or 5 YouTubers that talked about Star Wars.
And just remember, you can still be in the Star Wars community even if you don't really pay attention or are not like subscribed to any like Star Wars influencer. You can like and be a part of a community without actually like interact with it. Because a lot of the time, like I would say there are more people that are not in the community that like Star Wars or know about Star Wars than there are, if you like Star Wars and then you are like part of like some Star Wars group, you're subscribed to a couple Star Wars channels and all that shit. But that doesn't make you any less of a fan of Star Wars.
Almost 9 years ago. One of the main things I've noticed, I just want to share with you. I just want to shoot the shit and hang out with you because at this point, you guys are my friends. You guys are who I like to talk with and chill with and just shoot the shit. So something I've noticed is major difference in views from what used to be really popular years and years ago versus what is more popular now. Stop caving to pressure and stand your ground. If you've made something, I love that way. Be an activist. Stand your ground. Even though I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I've noticed this across the board among other Star Wars channels, whether it's Instagram or content in general, TikTok, whatever. If TikTok didn't exist when I started. I wish it did. It would have really helped. But anyways, check this out. Let me shrink myself for more.
Shut your brain ass up.
That was a lot more funny than I thought. You guys have been asking for lore content for a long time, and that's predominantly what the channel was about years ago, right? If we go back in time, we go to videos and we go oldest, we're going to lore.
Damn. Who is Darth Malak? Star Wars Explained. Yoda's dark side secret. Oh, I remember watching that one. Star Wars Explained. Snoke is Darth Maul. Theory Explained. What? Who was Yoda's master? Yeah, I remember watching all this shit.
Lore. This is almost 9 years ago, right? It's just tons and tons and tons of lore, what ifs, and stuff I really miss making. And if you look at the views,
like, I think this stuff is great because honestly, like, whenever I was in high school and me and my buddies were just hanging out whenever we got done, like just coming home and we would either play Super Smash or like DDR or Guitar Hero or whatever. We would also just bullshit about our favorite movie or show or whatever. What if Goku did this? Well, Superman versus Goku, who would win? What about Superman versus Hulk, who would win? What if this guy were to verse that guy? This is just something that people do. I mean, and this is like a little side tangent. Stuff like this is cool to like think about whenever whenever you like just get done like watching a movie. Part of the fun is just bullshitting about the movie and just talking about it. Like, I don't know, it's just really fun, and I don't know, it's like a nerdy thing or whatever. And it's the nerdy people that essentially like make these movies.
I mean, it was absolutely insane. Like, you would make a lore video, and it would be like, for me, once I got past the 1 year mark, it was like, man, you do a lore video, it was like 100,000 views in a few hours. I remember I would do the Vader comics. Within a few hours, it would be at 130,000 views. No problem. Just like that. Fan fictions, 70, 80,000 views.
What was that? What if Anakin never killed Dooku? What if Anakin was granted the rank of master? What if Darth Maul trained Anakin? Yeah, I remember watching all these. Like, let me just go. Let me just
Within
listen.
an hour, lore videos, regular topical random ass lore videos, 50,000 views within a couple hours. No problem. People loved it. Everyone loved it. I loved making them. Me, Stupendous Wave, Fact Free, who's now the Lore Master, Star Wars HQ. We were all making kind of similar content in our own different styles, and they were just super popular. The more I made, the better it helped Stupendous Wave's channel.
Oh, yeah.
The more he made, the more...
Yeah, like, I was in, what do you call it, in the loop. Like, if I watched, like, some Star Wars theory shit, I would probably... Some stuff on the side would pop up from Stupendous Wave or the Lore Master, and all the videos would fall in line about the same vein of, like, random Star Wars knick-knack fact for, like, 15 minutes. We're like, oh, okay, let me watch that. And then, because, I mean, essentially, after a while, I started to realize, oh, there's this whole other thing that's outside of the movies called, like, books, more specifically, like, the Star Wars Legends series. But I never really got into them because, by the time I looked up Star Wars Legends, the entire, it's like a huge, like massive, like 400 or 500 book series. Well, not series, but like, I don't know, brand. And I was like, damn, that's pretty intimidating to like try to read all that shit. But like, they're all like individual Star Wars stories that expand on the Star Wars universe. And I realized, oh, maybe these guys like reading the books and like giving their 2 cents on like, oh, this is what would happen, if like the movies were kind of in line with the books, and the movies are like the main story and the books are all just like little side quests and whatnot. And then all of a sudden, Disney bought Lucasfilms, and then all of a sudden, all those books were decanonized, and essentially that just means that like they're no longer a part of the official lore. And I think being a part of the official lore, I don't know what kind of value I can place on being a part of the official lore of anything anymore. Because the value of like the canon lore is only, I don't know, as important as the creator thinks it is. Because if the core lore of like a random IP, pick your favorite IP, is very important to the creator, well then they more or less, quote unquote, won't sell out and change the lore to meet certain expectations. And that to me is, I think, way more important than making your story and creating and catering it to a certain audience for like specific like financial gains. I mean, it is what it is. You know, go get your bag if you're the creator, and it's like, you know, you got to do what you got to do to make money, and I get it, whatever. But I mean, shit, I don't even know what I mean anymore. It's like there's just so many things, so many IPs that I used to love as a little kid. They're all like bastardized now, like Call of Duty, Halo, Assassin's Creed, not yet Splinter Cell, Mass Effect, The Witcher. What else? We'll see what happens with GTA 6. I was never really like a big fan of GTA, but I was like, oh, I played 5 for the first time. I was like, oh, this is pretty good. And then we're gonna see what happens with 6. There's just so many other like examples and IPs that they're just bad now, and it's like I don't care about them.
Or it helped somebody else's channel that made lore content. That's just how SEO works. Is you know, kind of the opposite of how newbies today think it is, or even some people thought it used to be, where, oh no, you're stealing from me. It's like, no, man, the more Darth Vader videos I made, the more that pushed Darth Vader content to the top, where any random new channel could make a Darth Vader video and it would get tons of views because of how popular I was promoting that stock, essentially.
Most impressive.
And so everyone would benefit, and vice versa. So what I look at,
So it's like a pump and dump, but for lore, for Star Wars lore. Okay, what's hot this month? Vader. Okay, everybody make Vader videos. Juice up that shit. Okay, great. Okay, now what's popular? Yoda. Yoda's popular this month. Okay, juice that shit up. Make some like lore. Okay. That's kind of funny when you like kind of explain it like that.
now, which is, I don't know if I think it's disheartening, but you know, from a channel perspective, like if you want to look at analytics wise, it makes no difference. If you want to look at it as, you know, what does it mean for the face of Star Wars and Star Wars in general, you know, and could I say this is just a my channel thing? No, because this is across the board. This is, you know, lore channels in general, everybody who covers lore, no one gives a shit. Nobody cares anymore. Look at this. The Jedi Watchmen explained who they were, what they did. Lore video.
Nobody cares about lore for Star Wars anymore. Or I say that as like a relative statement. Most people don't give a shit about lore anymore because Star Wars doesn't care about the lore. They will make whatever they need to appeal to the modern audience in whatever like fashion they need to. And you know, it's like, again, what I talked about, like if you as the original, like, well, you know, Star Wars isn't really like made by George Lucas anymore. It's made by like writers or I don't even know how it goes or whatever, but like still, if a piece of media comes out for Star Wars and it like in there they break their own lore in some way, shape, or form, I'm like, I don't care about it anymore. Understandably, Star Wars is a very big universe, like absolutely massive, you know, with like George R.R. Martin trying to like keep everything organized in his brain with Game of Thrones, and he can't do it as the original like creator of Game of Thrones and whatnot. And he's writing all the books and all this shit, trying to keep everything organized, and he can't even do it as a single person. How do you think you're gonna take like a more like bigger universe that is Star Wars and try to keep everything like organized when you have a bunch of people doing whatever? Well, there's just that to take into consideration too.
15,000 views on a 3.3 million subscriber channel 7 days ago.
No.
Some random video with my face. The struggle is real. Like horrible, pixelated. I didn't even put any effort into this. 43,000 views. Dash Rendar explained. The Darker Han Solo. 25,000.
I don't even know who Dash Rendar is. I mean, the darker Han Solo. So like Han Solo that like a smuggler that just kills people more readily. I mean, okay, but like, why is this relevant? Like to me as like a very casual Star Wars fan now, Like, I am a self-described very, extremely, if any, casual Star Wars enjoyer. The only Star Wars I really like enjoy is like the older movies, or like maybe the Clone Wars, or just the old stuff. Like anything new, I'm just like, get away.
1,000 views 6 days ago. Now, mind you, I could clickbait the shit out of these titles and
Yeah,
use what I know to make it pop more. But even then, it'll stagnate. It won't really reach higher than maybe 40,000 at most. Arca Jeth, one of the most powerful Jedi in Star Wars. If you uploaded this with this thumbnail and this title
That's a good
back
thumbnail.
in 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20,
That'd be poppin'.
2021, easily 500,000 views.
That'd be
by now.
popping.
Easily. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, but also you didn't have really good AI generation back then, so
3,400 videos on this channel. I know what hits. But in today's time, no one gives a...
no, and I'll tell you why. At least from my own perspective. And again, this is something that has happened to me as I get older, with all of the bastardized IPs that I see come out and are just bad. I didn't want to do this, but it's just a vice that, like, it is a vice that has originated out of the oblivion, and this is what it is. I enjoy spam chain watching, hate videos. If a new piece of media for a random IP comes out and everybody discovers that it's bad, I'll watch everybody give their 2 cents on it, and the most of the time, it'll, like, the series will be bad, and it's just like, I don't really comment, so like at most I just watch the video, and it's not like I goad or egg people on or anything, and people just like doing that. Some people are a little more radical. They'll like type comments, or they'll go and harass whoever. It's like, no, stop. But I will just give all the views to, like, all the people that have watched the piece of media, given their 2 cents on it, and figure out, like, oh, is this good or is this bad? You guys should watch this, or you guys should not watch this. Like, if anything is discovered, like, comes out and is discovered to be good, I will go watch it. Like, I will. But if you do a little appeal to history, what has happened? Like, all these YouTube bros, just come out. They watch The Thing, either Star Wars or Halo or Assassin's Creed or Borderlands. Jesus Christ. God damn it. And the reviews come out. Everyone says it's bad. Don't go see it. I'm like, oh, shit. I don't want to waste my fucking time. I don't want to waste $15. I don't want to waste $20 or however much a movie ticket is. I don't really remember. That's like an hour's worth, more or less, of work for maybe 2 to 3 hours of enjoyment or something like that, where, I could just as easily pay $15-20 a month and just stream all this shit and wait a month till it's out of the theaters and just gets thrown into the streaming services. And it's like, even if it's on the stream services, I really don't want to waste my time then. So that's just my 2 cents and my experience in the environment. I know, and it's like, I didn't want to become this, but I like watching the hate content. Like, there'll be a point of diminishing returns. I'll watch like 2 or 3 videos and I'll get the gist of like why something is bad. And I'm just like, okay, that's enough.
Civilized.
No one cares. This very next day, a talking video of me talking. Disney admits it, the Acolyte sucked. Of me reacting to an article about it.
What did I just say? What did I just say? Didn't even pre-watch it.
A Disney exec admitting that the Acolyte was shit. 311,000 views 4 days ago compared to the 18,000 views 5 days ago about actual Star Wars, about lore topic. Then the next day, we got him. Explain this one, Disney, about how Disney is spending $640 million without marketing costs, mind you, probably into the $700 million for Andor Season 1 and 2, and how they spent only $90 million for Kenobi. Make that make sense. Then, of course, my thoughts on the latest Skeleton Crew episode.
It does make sense. It 100% makes sense. People can feel people can like feel the vibe of a movie and whether or not like it's good or bad. And I mean, shit, dude. People could just like feel whether or not a movie is good or bad. Like when what was it, like episode 7 came out, like overall, like if you listen to the reviews on like week 1, it was like kind of mixed to like, it was like mixed to like kind of good, but you could easily see like they just reuse the same formula from like episode 4, and it's like just a bigger Death Star or whatever. And it's like, I watched the movie for the very first time. I got the movie first time impression experience, and I was like, oh, this is actually pretty good. Maybe Star Wars is gonna be good. But the next movie came out, and I was like, what is this? This wasn't as good. And then the third movie came out, and I was like, what are we fucking doing, guys? This is horrible. It just gets worse and worse as time goes on. Like, people can feel it.
Being controversial, I suppose, in and of itself, 100,000 views. So, from a guy that was obsessed with Star Wars since he was a kid, and still is to this day with the George Lucas Star Wars, and started his YouTube channel on a whim, not ever to see it go to where it is today with everything that I'm doing.
That was a good ass hat.
To kind of embody what he used to do when he was a kid on forums, and just talk to Star Wars fans around the world just as a fan, talking to other fans and debating Star Wars and theories and talking about the comics and the books and the legends and all this and that and the games in the early 2000s. And reliving that bit of excitement.
Bro, all the old ass Star Wars games of like Star Wars Pod Racer, Pod Racer 2, Jedi Starfighter. Was there a TIE Fighter one? There was one with like an X-Wing that was for like GameCube, and then there was like one with like the Naboo fighter with like the yellow thing, and then there was like another one. Wasn't there one with like, I don't think there was a TIE Fighter one. Maybe there was, I don't remember. Or the Jedi Academy ones, which had like some of the best what do you call it, like lightsaber fighting mechanics and physics. Much to my realization that some people like that style of game so much that they made a private server to preserve that fighting system, and it's kind of hilarious. It looks like Guns the Duel, more or less, with that. Well, actually, you know where there's those people like went? I think they all went to like the Battlefield 2 private server where it was just hero versus hero, because that like fighting system is like really good, but fucking like EA didn't even realize what they had. They just needed to like destroy everything with godforsaken like pointless time and accomplishment or pride and accomplishment systems with loot boxes and Jesus. Or the original Battlefront series 1 and 2 on like the big old chunky original Xbox. Tons of Star Wars games. You remember the Star Wars fighting game on PlayStation? Or Star Wars Galaxies, the MMO? Bro, I think I deleted it. I had like I re-downloaded the emulator somewhere on here, whatever. Yeah, just or the KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. Oh man. Or Force Unleashed. I mean, I could keep going.
And love. Then going on to make a channel randomly and work day in and out for lore content and what ifs and comic videos and all that, and then building trust within the community, and then getting to where we are here, where it's now me just giving my point of view of where they're taking Star Wars, and then the mixed in breakdowns here and there if the show is good. It's interesting to see that not only my subscriber base, but overall across the internet really doesn't give a shit about old stuff that they used to live for.
No, because it's like, it's so far in the past, 5, 10, 15 years ago, where the lore was actually meaningful and cool, and the lore didn't give a shit about trying to appeal to XYZ audience. The lore was just the lore. And that's when lore is good. When the lore doesn't care about who's reading it.
They used to really care about lore content, actual real Star Wars, like George Lucas era Star Wars, whether it's Legends or about the first 6 films. The majority of people don't care like they used to. It's more so about fighting against, the big guy who's, for lack of better words, destroying.
I don't even care about fighting against the big guy. I don't even care about fighting against the whoever is making the next Star Wars thing. I don't care about it. The war has already been fought and won or lost, depending on how you think about it. The war is done. Like, I don't think I can ever enjoy like anything Star Wars anymore. And that sucks, because it wasn't always like that. I don't know if they're trying to do this, like, Star Wars is going to forever be like this Ash Ketchum, he's forever like 13 type of deal that Pokemon does with Ash Ketchum. Like, Star Wars is only going to be for, like, I don't know, like 13 to like 25-year-old, and not even 25, I would say younger. Like 13 to like 21-year-old like era. And it's like, I mean, you could do that if you want. It's your IP. You could do with it whatever you want, but you can't force me to watch it. You can't force me to consume it.
What we used to love, destroying what we really care about. And it's like that anger that we have for what they've done with all their shit, and fighting against that and voicing our opinions against that. And I'm all for that. As you know, I do that myself, and not to be a poster boy of anything, but to just speak my mind, as if I were back in the early 2000s writing on the forums being like, nah, I didn't really like this, or I didn't like that, or I love this, I love that. It's the same energy on my end, but just observing it as a Star Wars fan, as a content creator, whatever that means, and just as a YouTuber, it's interesting to see the same kinds of videos that would get 500,000 views within like a day or two now don't even crack 1% of my subscriber base.
It was said that you would destroy this Sith, not join them.
Those lore videos will start to do good when Star Wars themselves starts to give a shit about the lore. Until that happens, I don't know about doing lore videos. If you were to do those, that would just be something to please yourself. That's what I would guess. Something that brings you joy in making it.
Bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness.
It's crazy, 1% would be 33,000 views. Now, I could capitalize on this, of course, if I want to be, smart about things and just make content that's just all about like shitting on everything. And it's like, we're kind of exposing everything. I don't even have to shit on it. I just got to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's already being shat on by Disney.
Yeah.
So it's like, really, I just got to talk my talk. I
Yeah.
never wanted the channel to be pigeonholed to one thing, only comics, only lore, only fan fictions, only loving something, only shitting on something, only exposing something. I wanted it to be, free flow, whatever I'm feeling. If I'm feeling passionate about a project, cool, awesome, let's talk about that. If I'm not, I'm going to tell you why I'm not passionate about it, and so on and so forth. But to see that the overall love for lore content and the stuff that would like, it was like, this is the stuff me and Wave would like, we love to make, and Dash Star and all like this kind of stuff, like lore content, was huge back in the day.
It's ended.
Yeah.
He's here.
What have I done?
His eyes no longer sit yet.
Yeah, like I said, like all this lore stuff, this just fleshes out characters even more. It gives characters more depth into certain situations, like what individual characters would do. You can see the struggle in Anakin's eyes right here, where it's like conventionally you think Vader, just mask, just unstoppable force. But something like this can be like super powerful, you know, but you're not going to see something like this like in the movies, just because certain things work in comics and certain things, just because it works in a comic doesn't mean it would work well in a movie. I mean, I don't fucking know.
Yellow, but they're normal blue once again. As he gets up to put the crystal back into the lightsaber, he leaves for Coruscant to see his master.
My apprentice, you have returned. Were you successful in your quest? I was.
When Vader ignites the green blade and puts it to his master, challenging him to duel to the death.
And I don't know if you're a new Star Wars fan or not, or if you're one of the OGs here on the channel watching this. I assume there's a...
You know what I bet? And this just came to me right now. I bet Disney actually hates how Darth Vader's helmet looks like a Nazi helmet. I bet they actually hate that. But because it's so iconic, they cannot change it. I bet that was a conversation that 100% happened.
You know, a new influx of fans and some of the old too. It's just interesting to see, and I just wanted to make this video kind of outside of the realm of, you know, everything else that I do here. And just kind of sit back and observe and be like, for years, it was about, oh, this lore video would be really cool. Let's make sure the thumbnail is really popping, looks good. People are gonna love that. To now being like, all right, well, let's see if there's a new article about like the Acolyte, you know. It's very interesting. And I guarantee you that someone today would have much more luck in views and growing their channel if they were to talk about what's extremely controversial. So either really loving the Acolyte or whatever,
No.
or exposing it for what it is and talking about how it's just destroyed everything and it just looks, it's horrible. Just kind of like,
Yeah. It's more popular to shit on Star Wars than it is to be positive about it. That is with a caveat, though. If a piece of media that Star Wars wants to release comes out and like people watch it and it's good, people will actually go and watch it and give it good reviews. But if a new piece of media comes out and it's bad and everyone comes out with the reviews like, oh, this is bad, this is trash, whatever, XYZ, those will get way more views. It's just what happens.
like The Last Jedi. It's no longer about the lore. It doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing lore. I like doing lore. I know that there's a core audience of mine that enjoys the lore, whether it's 1% or 0.5%. I'm still going to make lore because I love it and I care about it.
Yeah.
As someone who's been doing it for almost 9 years, for almost a decade, every single day, day in and day out, you know, I started at 0 subscribers too, and a lot of people forget that. And it took time, and I've learned a lot along the way, and I've observed a ton along the way. And it's interesting to see. Anyways, I want to know what you guys think about that. What does this tell you about the Star Wars fandom in general? Is it only a My Channel thing? You can't say that because it's across the board on every single social media platform.
Mm-hmm.
Is this perhaps a turning point for Star Wars that people just don't care anymore about?
Well, I don't think the turning point started now. It was like a gradual around the bend, big old turning point type of deal where, I don't know, it probably started with, what do you call it? When episode 7 came out, that was probably when it started. And then, you know, you have this oversaturation of just Star Wars shows and movies that just come out, and it's just oversaturating. And a lot of the stuff that came out was, you could just chalk it up as like, it's bad. And I think that was probably where you could pinpoint it, because, you know, like, what do they say in movies in big Hollywood? Never make a sequel. Anything that comes out and it's like a sequel, it's only a cash grab or something like that, unless like the original story like can't be contained in like a 2 or 3 hour little like sitting or whatever, you know, something like Star Wars or not just Star Wars, but like Lord of the Rings. You know, Lord of the Rings was like 3 movies, you know, with The Hobbit. It's supposed to be like 1 book, but they stretched it out to 3, whatever. You know, but the Lord of the Rings series is like 3 separate books, but it's all like one story. But, you know, in general, sequels from Hollywood are cash grabs.
Lore about, the real Star Wars that George and Lucasfilm back in the day created with all of the extended universe content? Or is this to say that maybe that fandom has dwindled down so much and so many people have lost interest because of Disney's lack of vision? Could that possibly be it? That there are only a few that are now straggling and
Oh, I forgot.
kind of just
No, Jesus.
dangling on
Stop
for,
reminding me.
dear life and just kind of holding on to the old stuff. That's possible too. Or is it that YouTube is not pushing out that kind of content because it's not as controversial, because it doesn't garner as many likes or comments as maybe a video about the Acolyte? See, there's lots of rules with YouTube and how things work. The more people like a video, the more it's going to be pushed out so more people see. And that, in turn, then makes more people see it because, well, more people are seeing it and engaging with it and commenting. I can guarantee you the comments and likes are going to be...
I think this falls in line with like another video I saw of like, who is responsible for making something bad? And the whole point of the video was like, is it the fans or the watchers or the players or the gamers? You have like this 3-circle like Venn diagram of, what is this? The paint, pop, circle, brush. You have like a circle. Jesus Christ. You have like, what is this? Let's get the circle tool. Big circle there. You have big circle there. And then big circle right there. And then in it, you have the investors and the people that enable the thing that, these people, their main job, they just give the money. They don't know how to do shit. They know who the people are who can make the stuff. And then you have everybody over here, like, let's say just for like a movie, director, you have all the camera bros, you have the sound bros, you have costume, you got editors and all this people. You have all these people that are responsible for actually making the thing. These people enable it by just, giving money to these guys. And then over here, you have, as a movie, you have your audience. And essentially, the main point was, if something comes out and it is discovered that upon looking and watching the final product and trying to figure out whether or not it's good or bad, good or bad is like a subjective thing, not gonna lie. But who is responsible for creating the product? It's these guys. If these guys want to make something for them, great, whatever. But if you're not taking into consideration your audience and what they want to see, they're probably going to think that your piece of media is bad. So at the end of the day, who is responsible for making the bad content? It's these guys. You could throw in writer in there. Writer, that's a skill that is being lost. Being a good writer. So it doesn't matter what YouTube bros say, reviewers say, or streamer bro says. If something comes out and everybody perceives it to be bad, who is responsible that made the thing bad? Well, it's not the watcher. It's not the audience. It wasn't the investors. They don't care. They just want a return on their money. It's all those guys. The writers, directors, so on and so forth. It's on them. And sometimes they can take responsibility, accountability, and so on and so forth. But a lot of the time they don't. They want to blame the audience. They want to call them this, that, you're bigots, you're what other words? Misogynist, all this other bullshit. And it's like, oh yeah, me, I'm the audience. I made the thing bad. Okay, that makes sense.
Higher on this. In an interview, 21,000 likes, 83 dislikes. Amazing ratio. You guys always do great with the ratios. 2,629 comments. Let's check out Arthur Jeth.
This actually
Arthur
is.
Jeth, our boy. 1.9 likes. 1.9K, 0 dislikes, 162 comments. About 1/20th
Archijeth, one of the most powerful Jedi in Star Wars.
of the likes, and yeah, about almost 1/20th of the comments.
Damn.
And as you can see, that is reflected in the views. If we multiply this by 20, we're going to get just about the views for this, which is 311,000.
Mhm.
Yeah, more or less 15 to 20 times. So you can see there is a very direct correlation between likes, comments, and video views. The engagement, and people think, oh, if I hit dislike, it's really going to hurt it. No, that's just another medium to engage. And that in turn also pushes the video out. It's just kind of like a bragging right, essentially. It's like, oh, no, everyone disliked it. Like, oh, everyone liked it. Like to dislike ratio. But at the end of the day, in terms of views, in terms of the machine, it just sees it as feedback. People are engaging with this. We're going to push it out more. So it's rather interesting to me. And just, I didn't learn that stuff about YouTube until, I'd say, the last few years. I was never an analytics guy, and I still don't fully understand it. But now I know the rules. I know about...
Well, yeah, I mean, essentially, I don't think anyone is supposed to fully understand the systems of YouTube, because if they did, they could 100% take advantage of it. So yes, it's understandable.
What works in terms of generating views. So like for this, for example, if the same amount of likes and comments happened on this lore video, it would have probably reached 10x this. That's just how it works. This is strange. But the thing is with YouTube, it has its own rules. And I don't even think Google understands Google, because the algorithm's always changing every single day. Especially now with AI, things may even be even more crazy and out of the loop.
Yeah.
But, it's just something I was observing, something I thought was interesting. Yeah, see, like, people want to see my reaction. Just 167,000 views, man. It was crazy. Like this, for example, that was a video on a sale that we were having, and like about Vader Episode 2. 62,000 views. Or was it this one? I don't even know. Gosh, I don't know. I'm forgetting. But, yeah, look at this. Just me in a cowboy hat in a hotel room.
I saw that video. Like, I didn't even know why he had a cowboy hat on.
Like, no real effort to it. It's just me candidly speaking about a topic that came up. It's cool in a sense where I don't have to work as hard anymore. But also, like, now as I scroll down, look at this. If I had labeled this video, oh, look, The Real Acolyte Season 2, Leslie Headland, please watch. If I had labeled this Darth Bane's Apprentice Explained, I guarantee you the views would have probably been like our boy Archijeth.
Oh, shit. So he actually tried to, bait people into, so this is like a little social experiment type of deal. Oh, look, The Real Acolyte Season 2. Duh. People love, hate watching the shit, self-admittedly. But, no, surprise, it's another lore video.
18,000 views. Nobody would have really seen it. Nobody really given a shit. This one. If I had labeled this not, oh, look, Disney's next villain, take notes, suits, 223,000 views, it would have just lacked in the views. If I would have been like...
And it's an old white guy with a white uniform and yellow eyes. Yellow eyes means evil. He is the enemy.
Valkorion explained, or Ancient Sith Emperor explained. Maybe 20,000, 30,000 views at most. It's just very interesting to see that, how fast over the years things have changed in terms of what works, what's popular, what people click on. And I have to say, it's controversy. People want to see what I have to say, but also controversy in general. For example, here, nobody's spending $1 million to make a unmonetized fan film. 68,000 views. But They all want to hear about, a shitty Star Wars game and, this company reaching out to me for a whatever.
Oh my god. Has anybody even gotten the damn new mount yet? I gotta see. What's the new mount? And what was that game called? Star Wars Outlaws. Look, real quick. Has anybody gotten the new mount? New mount in Star Wars. Not words. Outlaws. Has anybody gotten it yet? 8 days. Star Wars Outlaw dev admits no one's playing the game. No players. Wait, no one cared. Is this the new mount? There was like a mount or something that like they didn't update or something. Months. Nope. The patch just got released like a couple days ago. Ubisoft mission bearing truth. Oh god. No one. I don't think anybody got the mount. It was like bro, if somebody Star Wars Outlaws, why your speeder doesn't run on water? You need a hydro repulsor. Sure, dude. I don't know if anybody has gotten that mount from like finishing that piece of content yet. I guarantee if someone were to come out, play the game in its entirety, play that piece of content and get the mount, make a video and label it, I got the mount in Star Wars Outlaws so you don't have to, that shit would just pop the fuck off. But literally, that game is so irrelevant. Even it getting like gassed up and juiced at the Game Awards couldn't even help it. That is so funny to me.
382,000 views. It's very interesting. Just looking at this stuff. I wouldn't say it's disheartening. It's just, doing this for almost a decade, it's just, it's kind of like a revelation. It's like, oh, okay. Times change and you got to adapt. And that's just kind of where Disney has taken the brand and what people now are interested or rather disinterested in. And I love where the channel's gone. I really enjoy it. I really like the fact that it's like so laid back. It's very personal. Like I can just make this video and talk to you guys as people, as my subscribers, as my friends. The live streams that I have, the watch parties, I feel like we connect on so many different levels. And like I have friends out there. I'm a pretty big introvert. Despite what you might see at conventions, I feel comfortable with Star Wars fans because I know them, because I am one. Because it's like I know what we've gone through. I get it. I've lived it. I've lived through all the bullying. I've lived through all the shit, and being an outcast and all that. Like I know that. I get that. So it's like my people. I get this shit. Outside there in the world, man, no, I'm pretty like quiet to myself, and I just stick to myself. I'm very routine. And when I come on here, I feel so comfortable. I feel so comfortable and happy to just chat with you guys because I feel like you get me, and I get you. And so, anyways, hope you appreciate this little bit of I don't say revelation, but something I've noticed over the last probably year and a half that I'm now like vocalizing. It's all a testament as to where Disney has taken their brand, really. Because people really cared about lore and stuff back when the sequel trilogy was still coming out. But then after like more and more chips away at what they've done at what George has created, with Mando Season 3 and Kenobi and The Acolyte and then the Outlaws game and Book of Boba Fett and, the projects that really kind of jarred you in a weird way, I feel like that left fans literally leaving the franchise or just left them feeling like vindictive and like, oh, what the hell's this? No, I'm not going to watch Solo. I'm not going to support this next project because that last one was shit. Like, how could you do this to me? Star Wars fans take things very, very personally. And
I don't think we take things personally. I mean, we're just a consumer like anybody else for any other piece of like content or whatever. If like a piece of content comes out for my favorite IP and I don't like it, or I catch some reviews that say, or like I can feel the vibe of like the overwhelming social media landscape and it feels like no one else really likes it. It's like, well, shit, okay. It's probably not that great. So why would I even waste my time playing it? Well, because you want to get a real, you want to get your own personal opinion. You want to be like your own person. Well, like at that point, they don't really care about whether or not the content is good. They just care about they got your money. and they correlate them getting your money as the content was good. That's what it is. They don't care about the reviews. They just care if they got your money in the first place. But what is happening now is a few people are getting or watching the new pieces of media. You know, it's a video game. People, you know, the streamers, the YouTube bros, they all play that shit publicly, and they can feel whether or not it's good or bad. They give their review to inform their audience on what they should do with it. You know, they give it the up thumb or the down thumb, and based off of that, you know, people will or will not buy that video game. Or if a movie comes out and people are like on the fence about it, people will just wait for the review bro, the movie review bro, to like say whether or not it was like good or bad or whatever. And it's like, okay, this was good, it's worth a damn, go watch it. If not, okay, just save your money. And it's like, bro, I've actually saved a shitload of money from not buying a ton of video games on day one, or watching movies whenever they first get released in the theater. And I haven't really looked back. I mean, if anything, like a piece of content will come out, even if it's good, I'll just be like, it's gonna go on sale in a couple months or a year anyway. So what if I'm not part of the day one crowd that enjoyed it on day one? Who gives a shit? I'll go watch it, enjoy it, play it like a year later when it goes on sale and it's like 75% off, or it just gets kicked to like some stream service. Okay. Like, it's not that hard to dodge reviews of like popular games or movies or whatever, or shows.
You need to realize that. I'm talking to Disney now at this point. So anyways, yeah, just figured I'd shoot the shit with you guys and chop it up and kind of talk about something I've noticed, which I think is interesting. But anyways, hope you guys have a great day. Let me know what you think in the comments. Engage with this video, man. Let it blow up.
Up thumb.
Thing. Love you guys. Have an awesome one, and I'll see you in the next one. May the force be with you always.
Yeah. I enjoy like the little conversational type videos of just people going like back and forth. I think it's, I don't know, more personable or something. I don't know. That's just me. But yeah. Star Wars. It is what it is. But yeah, cool video, man. Keep it up. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I'll catch you guys on the next one. All right. Later.